A Boston police officer was injured after going down a slide at City Hall while he was on duty, the Boston Police Department told CNN. The department said the officer required medical assistance, but he didn't miss any work time. When asked about the incident, Mayor Michelle Wu said she didn't know the circumstances, but said she would check whether more signs were needed around the slide and would make sure the officer is okay. The mayor's office also stated that there's signage on the playground that states it is designed only for children to use.
Good evening, and welcome to part 2. Now, my lovely guest is not feeling the best, so the camera will be off tonight, but we're still gonna make it do what it do.
Hello.
So, we got to jump into the update / breakdown of the 4th indictment in 4 months for Donald John Trump. I'm going to be able to talk tonight. I promise y'all I will be able to talk tonight. So this is what we know thus far. The grand jury returned 10 indictments. The 10 indictments were returned under what's called a zero no true bill. Basically, what the prosecution asked for, the prosecution got. There are 41 counts total. There are 18 co-conspirators, not including Trump. Voting data was accessed according to the indictments. Sidney Powell lied to the January 6th committee, according to the indictment. Most notably charged are Trump, Meadows, and Giuliani. And the violation of Georgia's RICO Act carries more jail time than any other place in the country. Now, there are 2 that have been charged specifically with forgery, and this is important. That is David Schaefer, the former chair of the Georgia State Republican Party and a former Georgia State senator, and he was also a fake elector for Georgia. And there's Sean Still, who is a current Republican State Senate member and the former Republican finance chair, and also a fake elector. So unlike what's going on in Michigan, they can't go, we were duped, they lied to us. These are people that were already in the mix and knew what was what. And the biggest thing, now we know all of these co-conspirators have to turn themselves in by Friday. If not, an official warrant will be put out and they will be picked up. But here's the thing that's going to be different than all the other indictments and all the other arraignments. In Georgia, it's not a one and done. You surrender on one day, you are arraigned on a different day, and there will finally be a mugshot.
Finally. I've been waiting for a Trump mugshot all year, and I haven't gotten one yet. I need one so bad because I want to frame it.
So Rudy Giuliani is, of course, losing his shit. Everybody's trying to come out with their statements to downplay it. But here's the thing. You know what? Let me play it because Muscles and Nursing said it best. And I couldn't remember the last time this occurred, but he's absolutely right. It occurred with the Tea Party and George Bush. But here's a video and we'll talk about it on the other end.
So I'm going to get ahead of this right now. The Republican Party is planning on using Donald Trump as their lifeboat, just like the Tea Party was used as the lifeboat for Republicans to get away from George Bush Jr. This is Brian Kemp. The future of our country is at stake in the 2024 election, and that should be our main focus. Our elections in Georgia are secure, accessible, yada yada, which is a lie. This is their lifeboat. Republicans realize that they fucking jumped the shark with abortion, with trying to whitewash slavery, but do not, under any circumstances, allow them to get on that lifeboat. We burn them. Trump is not the Republican Party. The Republican Party is Trump. The Republican Party wants to get rid of Social Security, Medicare. The Republican Party has put our country at unbelievable risk because Tommy Tuberville won't appoint chiefs of staff. The Republican Party wants a 10-year-old rape victim to carry her rapist baby. They want a nationwide abortion ban. They want kids to starve in school. They want to privatize our schools, destroy public education. Absolutely not. Burn the lifeboats and do not let them live this down. There's no MAGA. It's just Republican.
And it is that because they're not going to party switch again. They're not going to party switch. There's no way to switch ideologies. There's no way to transfer back over. I think we're going to get another iteration of the Tea Party. I don't know what they're going to call it. Probably Moms of some type of Liberty somewhere in there. They seem to like tossing around liberty, but they're going to use this as rebranding.
And they've done it so many times. None of us should be surprised. They've rebranded so many times. And honestly, the Moms of Liberty thing, there's been a very interesting conversation going on TikTok. Now that you bring it up, a lot of the Moms of Liberty, they, as you know, they're very problematic in the school boards nationwide, libraries, trying to ban books, the whole 9 yards. There are a lot of white women on TikTok that work for school boards, that are liberal white women. They're like, how can we help? How can we be allies? Da 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 da. And I've talked to two of them now that are interested in infiltrating the Moms of Liberty, posing as Republican women, and going in and basically tearing up the organization from the inside. And I know when we talk about allyship on TikTok, a lot of people are like, we don't want any more allies. Y'all done enough damage. But that is something, and that sort of thing, in my opinion, is something that white people that do want to fight for good can do. They literally have access to spaces we can't enter.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I believe, in my opinion, is something that they may be successful at if they do the right thing and listen to Black and brown people who have experience in playing these, I wouldn't say playing these games, playing these games that white people have created. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they have to navigate the system. Yeah. You have to keep in mind, white folks, before you decide to volunteer yourself as tribute.
Yeah.
You cannot be new on your deconstruction journey. And
absolutely not.
Because you will easily get swayed back the other way. Because you have to realize these spaces are heavy with rhetoric, heavy with tropes. And if you're new to it, you're going to slip back into the, oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, that does. Oh, that happened to me. Yeah, they was racist towards me. And then you're going to be back on their side. This is somebody who's seasoned, somebody who's been through some things and seen some things, and they've been through this deconstruction journey.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to deconstruct before you attempt to, basically, just like the old saying, you can't help nobody else until you help yourself. And that's, a more, a larger form of that, but it's the same, concept. You got to help yourself first. And you cannot help our community if you are still out here with your own internalized racism and sometimes outward racism. I know a lot of liberal women who things that come out of their mouth, liberal white women, and things that'll come out of their mouth, and I'll be like, I can't believe that just came out your mouth. Friends I've had for years say the most racist shit. They don't even know it's racist. They don't even know what's coming out, what they're saying is racist until I educate them. I still had a friend just a few years ago that didn't even know she was privileged. I told her she was privileged. She got mad at me, started yelling at me in her living room.
Yeah.
And she said, I grew up poor. You see, they still don't understand the basics.
Yeah. And here's the thing. They don't understand the basics because too many white people equate poverty with Blackness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's their go-to. But also with this infiltrating the Moms of Liberty, Black folks, Asian community, Native community, y'all can jump into this as well, because let's not forget, at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, they were using white folks to infiltrate.
Yep.
And they love a good token. So they will say all of the things right in front of you.
I think that when it comes to the upper echelons of the organization, now I really don't know how the organization runs in terms of like their C-suite, how things operate at that level. But I bet the farm they're all white. Every one of them are white at the top of that organization. So that tells me that it's going to be if anybody's going to take down an organization like Moms of Liberty, and it may take forever for it to happen, it's going to have to be white women in those seats. The thing is it can't just be any white women in those seats, just like you said. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I wish them luck. I spoke to both those ladies on TikTok. They were asking me if I could help them, and I said, well, first of all, it was an idea that I had, and I said it's not something that I have fully, fleshed out or planned out. But one of the issues I've noticed with a lot of white women on that app is, as soon as, just like with what happened in Montgomery, people were coming on my page in my DMs. How can I help? How can I help? What can I do? Well, figure it out. I don't have all the answers. Just because I'm Black and have a voice on the internet doesn't mean that I'm going to tell you how to solve racism tomorrow. And it's this expectation of labor from Black and brown people. I'm so over it. I'm so over being expected to solve the world's problems just because I have a platform.
And here's the thing, white folks. You're sitting at the table with the people that are perpetuating the problem. You are related to the people who are perpetuating the problem. You are already on the inside. Why are you asking us, who have to observe from the outside, how to take it down? You know how to take it down, because let y'all get ready to get divorced. You know how to take that man down. Let you get ready to finally get your lick back on your parents. All of a sudden, you know how to take them down. Let your best friend rub you the wrong way. You know exactly how to take her down. Stop asking us. You already know. You took down countries.
Yeah, but I find it funny that as soon as it comes to anything that might actually challenge the system that keeps them in the position they are in this country, as soon as it comes to that, suddenly they don't know how to do nothing, and they're weak and meek, and they need the help of Black folks to do everything. Come on now.
Like, y'all can argue yourselves into free meals, discounts that don't exist, and everything else, but you can't tell Johnny Bebop that you married to shut the hell up and educate himself on racism. And people sitting there talking about, well, if I'm around and a brawl like that happens, what should I do? Keep your lily white ass over there and prepare them tears, because we don't know the difference between you and Beckiana over there. You get ready to cry when you see the cops. Just throw yourself in front of the cop and start crying.
Yeah, this is
from two different sides of the family when the police show up. Because if I get arrested, when I get out, I'm giving you all the skippity paps.
All of them.
Because trust me, I took mental note of everybody. And if it happens around me, if I get arrested and one of you heifers just said that you was going to help, don't make sure I stay out of jail. Oh, I'm going on a beat down tour. Everybody catching these hands. Everybody catching these hands.
That's why you have to be, that's why, well, we know not to trust white folks. We know that. We've known that all of our lives. And, but unfortunately, a lot of times we wind up in spaces where we have to be around white people, whether it be for work or school, whatever. And families. Yeah. And there's always these moments where you have to try to escape a situation very quickly because you don't know how it's going to end for you. I had a coworker a few years ago, who she considered me her friend, but I did not consider her. I don't really consider any white people I know friend, maybe acquaintance, because very few white people have. I have one white friend, I would say, in real life off of this app, and that's because
she said, "Do you remember what happened to her?"
To who?
Arena. Can you see it
what
on
happened
the screen?
to Arena? I can't see. Yeah. There, I don't know. Here's what I was told when I was growing up. You have friends and you have acquaintances. I can count how many friends I have on one hand versus my acquaintances. True friends in life are very rare, very rare. I have a few people in my life I've had around me, since childhood that have never done me dirty. I would consider them friends. I have maybe two of those people in my whole life. But my coworker, she brought me to a party at her house, and she was a white girl. And she was one of those white girls that thought she was black. And she wound up getting drunk, getting into a fight with someone, calling the police. And suddenly everybody that was black in the house starts dipping out the back door, the side door, the front door, including myself. And she stops me and she's like, "Where are you going? I need you to sit here and be a witness to what happened." And I said, "No, because the neighborhood we're in, the cops don't like black people. You know that. And you're going to sit here and put me in a situation." It's stuff like that. It's little, it's on the micro and macro scale. White people, white women in particular, are very dangerous.
Yeah, just like white women will marry into non-white families, specifically black families, as their come up. Because when you look at, not all, but a lot of them, when you look at what they have, the accomplishments, it's all because of that black family.
Yeah.
And because those of y'all that have been around the podcast, well, I have a family member that I discuss a lot, because she literally wouldn't have a job or friends. And I'm just talking about on the basis, if it wasn't for our family. But the way she walks around talking, I laugh at this point, because she is legitimately, and I am putting children into this category as well, the least educated person in my family. And she will say things and we will look at her like, that is so false. How are you this big old age and not know that? And she'll make snide comments regarding my allergies and what I have to do to navigate the world with my allergies. And I'm like, how have you survived this long? But everything she has is because of us. And there are times where she tries to talk down to us, and I'll just look, because I have a nephew that says that I'm intellectually arrogant, and I can be, especially around problematic people. I will be a whole asshole, and I will just start pulling facts out my ass just because I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say something to her just to confuse her. Now, my nephews, her sons, they just laugh. And I'm like, yeah, and these are the same mothers that will try to convince their biracial kids that they can identify as white. And I'm like, yeah, you go tell that 6'7", 300-pound phenotypical black man to go out in the world and act like a Richard.
Yeah.
Because when he end up on a t-shirt, ain't none of my money going to that funeral. I love him. I hate you. You're going to have to do some fish fries.
Mm-hmm.
And since you can't cook.
And I know what that's about. I have a white mother. I don't talk about it because everyone goes after the biracials with white moms, but I have a white mother. And my dad, basically, and I've said this before on my TikTok, my father basically shielded me from everything basically anything she had ever said that was problematic. And even to this day, if I try to bring up any of these topics that I talk about on TikTok or online, she'll be like, "Well, you remember you are half white, Brendan." And I'm like, I can't navigate the world like that, though. I can't navigate the world. At best, I can navigate the world maybe as a Middle Eastern person or a Hispanic person at best. I'm like, I can't navigate the world like that. And she knows that, but she still tries it because she's in her head. Anytime you bring up whiteness in any way, shape, or form as a negative, she goes on the defensive because she's never unpacked any of that. She's never unpacked any of that. But she's learned how to keep her mouth shut in front of certain people. She's done that. I will say that my mom has learned to keep her mouth shut in front of certain people about certain topics.
Well, that's progress, because there's a lot of them out there that just will.
Yeah.
And I witnessed it the other day. Okay, I went to go run a few errands, and I was standing in line like, this lady will not shut up. They about to whoop her ass. It was a day that I really, I was very reliant on my cane. So I'm like, I can't help none of y'all. I got nothing to hold on to if I turn this cane into a weapon. But he would not shut up. And
Oh,
everybody, even the white cashier was looking at her like, just be quiet. Just be quiet. They'll forget about it. She kept going. I was like, you gonna die. You gonna die. And I ain't even gonna testify. I'm gonna tell them I ain't see. I'm gonna lose my glasses by the time the cops get here. I'm gonna be a blind bitch.
oh, I'm see. I just now saw Arena's comment. Yeah, I'm on my phone, so I have to click over to read the comments. But yeah, no, one of my best friends is white. What I mean by I don't trust my white friends, I don't mean that like I don't trust them with personal things, or I don't trust them to have my back. When I say I don't trust my white friends, is I don't trust them to have fully unpacked anything to help me in a racial moment. When there is a racial moment happening, I don't know if I can trust them to do that. That's what I mean by I don't trust my white friends. Or I say I don't have white friends. I should have worded that different. I don't really fully trust my white friends, because you never know. When it comes down, look, that privilege is intoxicating. It's intoxicating. As soon as they have that moment where they can save themselves by throwing me under the bus, and it's something big like prison time or death, right? I don't know if I can really have them have my back in a situation like that. And I don't think that we can really say that about any white person in right now in these times. Things have not changed that much since the 1960s. In terms of their mindset, it's still the same. It's just evolved into something else.
Yeah. Okay, now I have another clip that I'm going to play. I'm going to pull us from the stream. We'll still be able to hear it. But get comfortable. This one is a little bit of a long one, but I think it's important for everybody to hear. And then we can discuss it because I have some thoughts. Here we go.
Roll the tape.
Let's play a game. Which agenda sounds most plausible to you? That the left is trying to turn everyone in the country trans? Or that the right has finally released their plans if the Republican candidate Donald Trump wins the presidency and wants to give the president all the power and basically rid of checks and balances? Well, if you said the second one, you are terrifyingly correct. Let's talk about Project 2025. A project that is the effort of a broad coalition of conservative organizations that have come together to ensure successful administration begins in January 2025, with the right conservative policy recommendations and properly vetted and trained personnel to implement them. We will take back our government. The main conservative organization pushing this project is the Heritage Foundation. I wonder what heritage they represent. Basically, their 180-page plan paves the way for a conservative dictator in this country. Yay! Donald Trump and his allies are planning a sweeping expansion of presidential power over the machinery of government if voters return him to the White House in 2025, reshaping the structure of the executive branch to concentrate far greater authority directly in his tiny, tiny fucking hands. And in non-surprising news, they brag how the Trump administration embraces Heritage Foundation policy recommendations. No shit. Now they're going to do everything in their power to ensure that Donald Trump wins. And that's not me just taking a guess. They've been caught on video saying exactly how they're going to do that. Dark Money Group brags about writing GOP voter suppression bills across the country. Quote, "We did it quickly and we did it quietly," said the executive director of Heritage Action. Pause to read, please. Are you paying attention? All the baseless attacks that the right has made against the left about voter fraud is not only projection, Because let us not forget, just recently, Michigan Attorney General charged 16 false electors with election law and forgery felonies. The defendants that met covertly in a basement of the Michigan Republican Party headquarters and signed their names to multiple certificates stating that they were the duly elected and qualified electors for the President and Vice President of the United States of America for the state of Michigan. It's also a way to convince you Republican GOP voters that it's okay to strip voting rights away from people. And what other group is under the coalition of this Heritage Foundation? Our favorite assholes with casseroles, Moms for Liberty, where leaked video footage from one of their conventions was just released of them cheering on Mustache Man from Yahtzee, Germany.
One of our moms in a newsletter posted it like, woo! I stand with that mom.
Democrats in conservative-run states need to start organizing even faster, or do nothing. Apply for a passport and dual citizenship as a refugee to another country. Because if you are not a white, straight, cis, Christian man, you will no longer thrive in the United States of America. 2024 is just around the corner. It's time.
And for those who didn't pause the screen, it said, in a private meeting last month with big money donors, the head of a top conservative group boasted that her outfit had crafted the new voter suppression law in Georgia and was doing the same with similar bills for Republican state legislators across the country. In some cases, we actually draft them for them, she said, or we have a sentinel on our behalf, give them the model legislation so it has that grassroots from the bottom up vibe. And then it continues. The leaked video revealed the extent to which Heritage is leading a massive campaign to draft and pass model legislation restricting voting access, which has been swiftly adopted this year in the battleground states of Georgia, Florida, Arizona, and Iowa. It's no coincidence that so many GOP-controlled states are rushing to pass similar pieces of legislation in such a short period of time.
This is where we need to organize, is to get it. We need to get in. We need to shut these groups down. And I mean, we've known that they've been passing voter suppression laws for a while. I mean, even one of the representatives out of Missouri came out and said the reason why they're trying to, I mean, it to the news, said it straight up. The reason why we're trying to pass so many far right-wing conservative bills is because we're trying to run all the liberals out of the state so the state turns red. They're just trying to run everybody out so they can control everything. They want to do a constitutional convention. They tried to do that last year. They almost had enough states, but luckily a bunch of blue states rescinded their request for a convention, which would have completely rewritten our constitution. None of this surprises me. Also, something interesting she said at the end. She said, "If you're not cis, white, straight, het, and male, you will not thrive in this country." Where has she been?
And see, that's part of my thoughts, because the whole system was set up for them to thrive, even in their mediocrity. It's set up for them to thrive. But I have been screaming for years because far too many people, and some of y'all might drop out of this and decide you hate me, but I'm always going to be honest because that's the only way I know how to be. Too many people get into the activism game instead of becoming activists because they want fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been screaming for years that we have to do the grassroots route. We have to create grassroots organizations, grassroots campaigning, grassroots everything. And what are they doing? They're going, as she quoted at what I read, they're going at the grassroots level. Just like this past election cycle, I broke down for y'all that you have to go out and vote for everything. And I shared some wisdom from my papa, and I'm going to share it again. Whether you have a child in school or not, one day that child may be your advocate, your lawyer, your nurse, your doctor, or your neighbor's teacher. Stop avoiding levies, stop avoiding, because they're starting and putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into school board elections, because they're getting their political resumes together to move them through the ranks and go up. Everybody wants to start at the top. The road and the mechanism to equity is a machine. Cogs need to be in the machine. Everybody has it. We got some success during the civil rights era, because you had people that were willing to just be the people making the flyers. You had the people that were like, okay, I got to keep this job, so I can't be, at the rally, but I can watch your kids. You had other people that were like, you can use my house for this. Everything doesn't have to be, I got to be the face and the name for the movement, because what are you doing? And I'm really going to call a spade a spade. This is how we end up with the Savannahs, the Doneshas, and the Tizzy Ents. Because it's not about making actual change. It's about becoming the face of something, and we have to move away from it. We have to hit them with the grassroots, just like they're hitting us with the grassroots. We're saying, why can't we get hate crime legislation that is formidable and that will actually protect us, because we are trying too hard to go straight to the top. The one thing that I've learned in writing legislation and getting legislation passed is that you have to show them, just like you got to show record companies nowadays that you have a base and you can sell records. You got to show them that your idea is going to work. So find a community. Get the legislation passed there. Let it run for a few years, because this is a marathon. This ain't a sprint. Then take it to the county. Then take it to the state. Then take it regionally. Then take it to Capitol Hill.
Yep.
Some of y'all didn't learn nothing while you was watching Saturday morning cartoons and it shows.
Yep. And a great place to start, honestly, is in these rural areas and blue states. We're already in a blue state. You can test the waters in these rural areas. And I live in one. I live in a rural area in Illinois. It's a very blue state, but we still have red districts. We can test the waters in some of these red districts in these blue states, start grassroots there. If it works there, and if it works with these Republican voters, it may work across the river in Kentucky. It may work across the river in Indiana and Missouri. But we've got to start. And all people are doing is getting on TikTok, and we complain and moan and complain and moan. But no one's really, how many people that you've seen on TikTok actually voted in their local elections recently?
Even knew there was a local election, because I got slack. I joined a live a couple months ago because we had a special election where I am. And the special election was whether or not people could own hens. I kid y'all not. That was the only thing on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, you paid attention to that? I went to every single meeting, because one thing for certain, two things for sure. A bill is not cut and dry. See, they'll keep advertising that, oh, it's for hens, it's hens, it's hens. Don't you want a hen in your backyard? No, I don't want my neighbors to have a hen either. I moved
out of the fine print.
Because them motherfuckers make too much noise and they smell a little funny. But in these bills, they'll sneak stuff in. Like, this person gets a raise, or this side of the county won't get new roads for 15 years. Or now black folks can't go to the baseball stadium. Like, you got to go. And I'm like, you're laughing and joking about this, but then when you get blindsided, you're all shooken for Clint. No, don't miss a vote. Don't miss anything. And like, my oldest son was extremely proud of a position that he got earlier this year. And I'm proud of him as well, because he's always wanted to make change from the inside out. Got a position with the Boys and Girls Club, translated that into another position where now he can work with the youth in the community to start there. and they have political conversations. They have budgeting conversations. They have all of these conversations. So by the time that these kids can vote, they are well-rounded and will be prepared for the gerrymandering that will happen. If they say you got to have a new specialized ID, these kids would have known how to budget to have that extra $20, $30, $50 in their pocket to be like, oh, no problem, give me that ID. They gonna be able to budget to have, because it's not just knowing how politics run. You also have to know how to budget, because a lot of times they go for our pockets to keep us from the ballots. And can we finally stop with this? Your vote doesn't count. They don't care. Yes, it does, because
every vote counts.
If your vote didn't count, they wouldn't keep trying to take it away from you. And can y'all stop with the electoral college debate? That's only for presidential elections. Everybody else is a popularity contest, baby. And if you demand that these candidates, when asked a question, if you start demanding that they answer the question instead of habitually being on the campaign trail, we could get better candidates in there. But I'm sorry, y'all like to sit back and allow them during town hall meetings, because either you ain't there or you just, oh, that's just how politicians talk, and you let them talk you in circles instead of answering the question. When you start lighting the fire underneath them that they're lighting on us, it'll be better. How the hell y'all letting the employees run the company? Could not be me. I wish one of my employees would call me and be like, hey, Taz, this is how it's going to be. Yeah, you're going to be unemployed. That's, ain't it?
Right. And honestly, and the alternative is not pretty. What she stated in that video, I don't think people really understand what that's going to look like, what that would look like. I mean, people aren't just going to roll over and take having their rights stripped, especially Black people having our rights taken any more than we've already had them taken. So, and white people, they'll sit back and let it happen because at least they're still white. But Black people, we're not going to sit back and take. People of color are not going to take it. And it's not going to be just some, it won't be a political fight at that point. It's going to be a war. An actual war. And that's what keeps me up at night. That's what makes me wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat.
Well, see, let me use white women as an example. Even before white women have the rights that they have now, white women were protected under the umbrella of white men. So they really never felt any discomfort. Black folks know the discomfort. And I'm using discomfort very loosely. Of not having rights, of not being seen as fully human, as not being seen as human, period. We're not going backwards. And in the Black community, there is one thing that is huge. You do not dishonor honorable ancestors. That is not to say every ancestor is honorable. That's why I said honorable ancestors. So for us to allow the clock to be rolled back, we would be spitting on the graves of Medgar Evers, Rosa Parks, Dr. King, Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, all of these people, Nat Turner. Oh, well, Nat Turner technically doesn't have a grave, but y'all get what I'm saying. All of these people, and we are not going to do that because we know when it's time for us to ascend to the ancestors, they will shut that door on us quickly.
Yep. They'll be like, why did you what you just sat back and did nothing?
We'll be floating around in limbo. We'll be them ghosts that's pissed off in every white person's house just fucking with you. You go to boil some eggs, we cutting the gas off every time. Every time.
Yeah.
You go to turn the doorknob, it's gonna fall off. That is a limboed ancestor right there. They fucked up. Now they're gonna fuck with you forever.
Yeah, no, we can't allow it to happen. But we have to get. I don't expect nothing from white people to actually. Something would have happened already, and I made a video about this. They would have done something already, and I made a video about this a few weeks back. Towards a white woman, and I told her in the video, I said, Y'all sat on your hand. Y'all have sat on your hands and sat idly by, and you've done nothing. You can literally enter spaces we can't enter, and you have chosen to do nothing. And so don't sit here and act like, now that you're loud on TikTok, suddenly you have all the answers, because you don't.
Because white women have a very interesting dichotomy. White women can separate themselves and dissect themselves in so many ways. White women can join a feminist or womanist movement and just focus on her womanhood. White women can go chill with the white community and just focus on being white. It's only when you push both of them together, then all of a sudden they're like, you said my name. No, I just said I don't like that white woman down there. But you said white woman, that's my name. It's only when they're forced to come together, look at their own intersectionality, that they're like, something's wrong. But because for so long it has been their tradition and their heritage to delegate the movement towards equity, that's all they want to do. They want to sit back and be the supervisor of the movement, but not the participant. And when they do decide to quote unquote participate, it's cosplay for them. Remember when Roe v. Wade first got overturned and you had a slew of white women? We're not going to go out looking like this. We're going to look like warriors. This is what we're going to wear. What change are you? This is not a party, Becca.
Quoting Handmaid's Tale. Remember that?
Yeah.
All like, dressed up in costume.
Like, y'all are putting together hats for a march and coordinating outfits, but you don't have a plan. You don't have a course of action. You all are acting like this is brunch on wheels. No. And then they're sitting there talking about, well, Black women, what are you going to do? Sit back, because we told y'all we wasn't helping you. We told you how to avoid this in the first place. We gave you a step-by-step. We gave you the damn blueprints with cliff notes. But they are so used to white men coming out protecting them, every other woman buying into that feminist, we're one, we're sisters. No, we're not. No, we're not, because you used to own us too, heifer. You used to rape us too, heifer. You weaponized the police against us, heifer. We're not sisters. We are not all one big family. This ain't High School Musical. We are not all in this together. We are not. You get to go hide behind people when it gets too hot outside. You have somebody to come and drop blankets on you when it gets too cold. All I got is my will to survive when it gets hot.
Man, you preaching facts.
Because even my brothers that I know love me, that would come out and have my back, they can only help me so much because they dodging the bullets that's coming at them. Because let's face facts. We haven't even left the month of August yet. Today is August 15th. 3 different times on TikTok, I've had grown-ass elder white men come for me out of nowhere from my history post. History, not even me clapping back at somebody, because I know my tongue can be vicious. And the Black folks that came out to help and support. But then how it spread to them like a fucking wildfire. Because as much as we want to help each other, we got to be careful who we help, when we help, because we may not survive to help again.
I've lost 4 pages now doing that. And it's got me to a point where I'm like, do I even say anything else? Should I say anything else? I'm going to lose my platform entirely. Because at one point in time, I had 70,000 followers on this app, 200,000 views. As soon as I started being unapologetically Black, everything went south. I lost it all.
And each time you get a new account, I've noticed something, because my OG account got banned while it was going viral at a little over 75K. Then the next account, I was creeping up on 10K. It got banned. Then the next, it's like They'll let you get so far, then they snatch it from you, and let you get so far, and then snatch it from you.
Yeah. It's meant to discourage. It's meant to discourage and browbeat your soul. That's what it's literally meant to do. That.
And I'm just like, and that's why I look around, and that's why I say there's a lot of people who are in the activism game, but not are activists. Because I've even had people reach out to me in DMs, and you know this. I don't mind talking to anybody in the DMs. I don't mind anybody sending me any videos. If you want me to help you boost, I have no problem with that. I'm not one of those, oh my God, I don't know you personally, don't DM me. No, I like talking to people. Okay. I like to talk. And I've had people like, well, why don't you make more videos? One, got a whole company to run, but two, I'm actually out doing the work. When I'm bringing you history, one, I've researched it top to bottom. I also teach, but I'm doing the work. A lot of my free time, so to speak, is literally writing the skeletons of legislation. So no, I can't be on there all day. I'm more available to my friends on there than everybody else because I'm biased. I am. I admit it. Screenshot it, take it back. I'll say it over there too.
Me too. We're a little cliquish.
Yeah, so if I see a certain person's name come up in my notifications, yes, will I pause what I'm doing and go see what they need? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Some random person, you can wait till I get a free moment. But when you see somebody, that's why I laugh when some people are like trying to defend someone. They're like, oh, they do so much for the community. They made 200 videos today. When did they have time to do anything for the community?
Right. TikTok is not the community. This is a part of it. I mean, these conversations is part of it, but it's not the community. No. And anytime, and the thing is that doesn't make views. It doesn't sell on TikTok. It's all about marketing now. This is a great segue into box braids girl. She, first of all, just like you just said, white women don't want to do nothing. It took a black woman to expose her. Did you notice that? It took a black woman to expose her. How many white female models live in Houston? And not a one said, oh, I know who that is. Let me expose her for what she is.
Here's the thing. I was awoken in the wee hours of the morning. It was right before my normal insomnia mid-morning wake up anyway. When that all went down at 4:00 in the morning. And I had already had an idea because I'm like, okay, I've been modeling and a photographer for many, many years. And I had started reaching out to different photographers that I have because I'm like, even though she's in Houston, you can work with photographers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple people that were like, they kind of knew who she was, but they had never worked with her. So I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm like, she's somebody's child's friend. She's somebody's sister's friend. She's somebody's brother's girlfriend. She works with somebody. And I've watched a lot of the white girl run beef pages on TikTok. They'll find out what color your toenails are on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
But I watched 3 black women cut off her pockets, expose all the plastic surgery she has, and expose the fact that she's been trying to break into the rap and modeling game for years and couldn't do it.
Because she sucks.
Oh,
she's not good. Her music is, she can't even hold a tone, and she don't know how to stay on beat.
Oh my goodness. She has spent the day trying to report everybody's stitches and duets of her. And it's like, girl, I saw
she got mine took down.
Yeah, she got mine taken down too. But here's the thing. She put out the because I was talking to my cousin about it yesterday. And I said, I just saw a video. I said, I'm waiting for a rap video to drop. And I was legitimately being facetious. I was joking around. You know how I am. I just cracked over a video. I didn't think she was really going to do it. But I saw the little teaser of her in a studio. And I was like, I've been in studios. This is a starter studio. This is the type of producer that's going to take any and everybody, because if they mess up the track and you ain't got no talent, it ain't hurting nobody.
Right.
He gonna charge you. This is a $10 track studio. I know you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
need
like,
I need to get me in one of those. Recent.
and I'm just no disrespect. You can get some great music out of a $10 studio. It's just
Yeah.
a newer producer. That's all I'm saying. And
Yeah.
she's flossing and all this other stuff. Then the song dropped last night, and it was right when I was like, you know what? I'm getting on TikTok. I'm about to go lay down. And Puppers was giving me that look like it is time for us to go upstairs. And I promise you, I swiped and there was the video. And I was like, she has a lot of confidence.
A lot of audacity.
And then when I found out she paid for that Big Bird nose on her face. You paid for that? You paid for somebody to put a hook in your snaz?
And she's over here talking about black women's noses, and I'm like, girl, your nose, Her
like,
nose is big in all the wrong places.
But did you see the permanent dent to the
side? Oh, I did.
Her chin is split like her part is off center.
No. Oh, Jesus.
I know when she was getting her hair done, the ancestor just scooched her over a little bit. Like, there you go.
Her part really was. Her chin really. I knew there was something off about her face. You could tell in her lips that those aren't her real lips. I knew she at least had some filler in those lips, because natural big lips from fake ones.
The Journalista, that's the handle, Journalista, on TikTok. It's a black woman who is a very accredited journalist. I read a lot of her articles. I read a lot of her articles here on the show.
Writing that down right now.
If y'all go to her page when we conclude here, she has a pre-surgery picture of Miss Mamas. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I don't want to get hit for harassment and bullying. That's all I'm gonna say. I remember when I told y'all the other day to go look up Snuffleupagus for a particular mugshot from the Bama brawl. Go see that pre-surgery. Y'all remember what Kim Kardashian's original face looked like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is what it looked like.
Mm.
The Courtney laughing. I didn't give her that face. Her mama should have taken all of her prenatal vitamins. She did. She did. And here's the thing. Sister Girl done locked down all of her social media minus this fake fan page that she created on Instagram. So she's trying to take the buzz she thinks she created on TikTok over to Instagram. Like, do you think that I'm culturally appropriate? Do you think she's culturally appropriate? You can't create a buzz. You just dropped the song. Why is not everything about your song? Because last time I checked, when Crystal Crave drops a song, we talking about that song for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And see, Miss Dusty Desert Barbie, I think she took my video down because I specifically did a freestyle spoken word poem towards her. And I asked her, I was like, if you believe you got so much talent, ain't there a cipher this weekend where Crystal gonna be at? Go get in a cipher with her.
Someone gonna be. Let me just be quiet. I don't want to get you taken down.
My thing is, I feel like this is the perfect time. I feel like this is the perfect time. Now, if we could get Jasmine's Garden or Victoria on the hook, and Crystal can put together her own female MC crew, I think this is the time for a new version of I Want to Be Down. I feel it. I'm just saying. Just make it a whole national thing. Like we already got Crystal in Houston, get somebody from Tennessee, but no, from Memphis, because Memphis is different from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Get somebody from Memphis. Yeah. And if somebody mentioned Brittany, I'm gonna throat punch you through the screen.
Brittany, who's that? I'm out of the loop on this.
Well, we actually used to be friends, but given a big controversy, I don't think a certain group of people who thought that they were going to take me down, I don't think they realized they allowed me to dodge some huge bullets. But it's Queen Lock 84 or something. I don't know what she did. I guess she got a new screen name, but she's another Black Fisher. And no, when we were connected, she wasn't, as far as I knew, she wasn't a Black Fisher, but
I've got a very specific disgust and despise for blackfishing people, and that's because for a very specific reason. I'm pretty sure you can guess why. They're literally stealing those of us that are biracial. They are erasing our identity. When I first got on this app, you know how many people told me that I was blackfishing? And I said, what I'm not going to about to do is get on this app and show a photo of my father on this app. My father is a dark-skinned black man. I am not doing that. I am not blackfishing. These are my natural lips. I have not had surgery. I am not from the fucking suburbs. I'm not from the city. I don't know nothing about none of that. I am just who I am, and that's all it is. They go after the women worse. Biracial women get it more.
And that's the thing, because they denigrate so much, and then they come out like the Instagram model that was busted for purposely making herself ambiguous. Some of y'all might come out the bag on me. I don't care. I throw punch on an equal opportunity basis. Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
Actually, the Card Jenner crew. And I'm just like, y'all.
It's like I didn't have to pay for these lips. No, it came naturally.
Right, like
this ass is mine. Thank you. It's all mine.
A whole community of people, and then trying to. And this is what blows my mind is when I see a lot of these blackfishers. They're the ones that'll go to the comment section of biracial and multiracial individuals to try to convince them to quote unquote act white. What the fuck? Like this is
they want to replace us. Literally, they want to replace us.
I was about to say that. Like this is not Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like you don't get to just swap places with them. This is not Tales from the Hood. This ain't Twilight.
No, and you know the old saying: everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black. Everyone wants to be a person of color until it's time to be a person of color. Everyone wants to be. They want the rhythm, but not the blues, as they say. So. I don't know. I just do me. I get on my page and I mind my business, and I'm talking less and less and less about race-related topics and focusing more and more on my music, because that's what I got on this app to begin with was my music. And I don't even know what led me down the road of anti-racist work, other than just I was just angry. Every single braided Becky or box braid Becky or, cop calling Karen or whoever on that app, I just got madder and madder and madder. Because I realized, I always knew these people were out here, but just the boldness of it. I think a lot of people got used to, and I include myself in that role. I think a lot of people got used to racist people being silent. Yeah, you're racist, but keep quiet about it. Don't open your mouth. And I remember my dad telling me back when I was a kid, here in my hometown anyway, he said, don't let a single one of these white folks fool you in this town. They're all racist. And I didn't believe him at the time. I was like, you're lying. No, they're not. And he was like, oh, yeah. You want to bet? Date one of their daughters and see what happens. But now they're just out here bold and loud. And at first I was mad, but now I'm glad they show their face. I like to see my enemy clearly. I like to know who I'm dealing with. When you're loud and you're ignorant and you're like the box braids girl, at least I know who she is. That's who she really is. She may say, oh, this was my marketing campaign. My marketing manager told me to do this. No, girl, you did this of your own volition. I feel sorry for your children. because your children now have to, well, your children were already going to have a problem, but now it's publicly known that their mama did what she did on TikTok. And they have to go to school with that.
That part.
They have to go to school with that.
You think that kids don't see stuff, don't know stuff. Now, I went to school with no internet for the most part of my education. When we did have internet, it was very much so dial up. You had a handful of websites that really didn't tell you much. Okay. And the things we found out about, the things we would sit around and discuss, and we knew who had unwitting information. We knew whose daddy was cheating on whose mama was cheating, who was embezzling money. And it wasn't even that we were looking for the information.
Yeah.
People do stuff because until you become an adult, people treat you like you are the literal fly on the wall. They pay you no mind.
Yep.
Like, I found out that my parents were once friends with somebody who went on to attempt to be a serial killer. He only killed one person and they stopped him. And I was like, what the hell was y'all doing in your 20s? Where was you going to find these people? Like, and then I found out that, unfortunately, in the city that I grew up in as a teenager, there were a couple firemen that had a booger sugar problem. All stuff that I did not want to know. But you get trapped in the car with your granny and your auntie on a Saturday. Where you gonna go?
You gonna listen to all of it.
Where are you going? They done turned the radio off. We didn't have tablets and iPads. What you gonna do? You sitting there like an old lady watching soap operas. And Becky Ann did what? And Tyler said, ooh, and the bitch down the block did that. Oh,
that's how we got our news back in the day. There was no TikTok. It was listening to the rumors.
Ask me some of that Ben Gay, and they be like, you 10. Oh, shoot, I am, ain't I? Okay. That's why you had 11-year-olds walking around talking about, well, Lord willing, I'll be there tomorrow. What the hell? We walking around.
Sabrina said the internet did create more diversity than I think anyone planned for. Yeah, I mean, for especially people in rural areas like where I grew up, no one here. We had black folk here, but we were on our own side of the tracks. This town was very segregated, but in the small towns, I think in white communities, it created more diversity than anyone had planned for.
I think it more so took away white people's ability to lie.
Yes.
Because the more that the internet grew, the less you saw all of these save the children. Let's go over to Africa and feed the starving children. That shit went away. It was a lie. You stop getting so many public tropes and stereotypes being spoken, because in real time, you could talk to somebody in Iran. You could talk to somebody in Nigeria and ask them, is that really how y'all living? Nope. Mama, why you tell me that because they ain't white, they poor and stupid and uneducated? She living in a mansion. She living in a mansion. We in a double wide tent. Why you lie, mama? And I think that's what it was. And then from that, you had people in generations that started looking at their families funny. Like David Duke's son, when David Duke decided to send his son to a liberal arts college.
Right.
It's just still funny to me. So diversity began to increase because of that. But the internet takes away the ability for people to lie. Even those that make big platforms off of disinformation and misinformation, like the older millennial, the elder millennial, and like Misfit Patriot. They know they're wrong. They know that they're lying, but they're banking on the stupid people still following them and the engagement that they can make money off of. Because in real time, you have people that are like, no, here's a book you can read. Here's a website you can go to.
Right.
It's just the internet took away the ability for people to blatantly lie. And you do still have those people that are holding on to the lies, because that's why you see them going, like the guy that I had on last week. It was like they just make careers out of welfare. Bro, you are sitting here claiming poor and you own 4 acres of land. I'm gonna throat punch you. I'm gonna throat punch. Yes, with his whole ask the comment section. Came on here acting like he was poor, and then I caught it when he slipped in that he owns 4 acres of land with quartz on his land. Bruh.
With quartz.
With quartz on his land.
Oh boy.
There was a point where I just sat here and just stared at him.
I'll never sit here and say that I don't have what I have. But my dad worked his ass off to get it and sacrificed a whole lot to get it. How many black people you know own 10 acres and maintained it and kept it? Coming from nothing with a 5th grade education and no, you know what I mean? It's that we have to work 10 times harder than white folks to get what we get. And then when we get it, it was always a threat of being taken away. Always a threat of being taken away.
Yep. And
I paid my listen, I paid my property taxes last year at the courthouse. And I overpaid to pay for the following years. Told them at the courthouse, this is for next year's taxes. They gave me a receipt for both. Then turn around this year, find out I owed a late fee on last year's taxes. This happened 2 years ago. So I owed a late fee on last year's taxes because they never applied the money I gave them to last year's taxes. And they put my house up for sale, never called me, never put nothing in the mail, anything. And I had to go up there and fight to get my property back this year. I almost lost everything this year. Black folks are always fighting for their stuff all the time. If they run into one racist clerk at a courthouse, one, Karen bank teller, it's over.
Or just any I can't even say how many times somebody has tried to just run my company into the dirt online. And it's always funny because they'll have this elaborate story, this backstory about their interaction with me. They're like, and she was supposed to do this event for me. Bitch, my company is IT.
What?
There was a church. There was a church. I went to volunteer to help them clean up. They had a huge. She was supposed to do our. I work in IT. I just came to help it. And you could tell how I was dressed. I was there to clean up. The Saturday morning cleanup clothes. Did nothing match. I looked like some Korean woman's ajima. Okay. Nothing was coordinated. I said, you know what? But as always, thank you for joining me here. And as always, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video where you can find where to click to be able to follow our favorite intellectual musician.
Oh, thank you so much. I love joining these with you. I've never done podcasts before. And you and I come from, we have very different background. I don't know. I have a very different perspective on things because of where I came from. I came from the middle of nowhere, and I kind of still am in the middle of nowhere. And I just enjoy this interaction. It's different.
Oh, so I'm hearing you would like to come back and be the Tuesday co-host?
I might. I might be able to bring my country perspective because that's all I really got. It's all I really got is my country perspective.
Y'all heard him. When we wrap, get over
yeah. We might do it. I might come back more often, be your regular Tuesday co-host. Listen, it's easier in video format where I can sit and edit the videos, but it's a little harder in a podcast to put my thoughts together.
Yeah, it can be, but it gets easier.
Yeah, so maybe next time we'll have more. This time was easier than last time, that's for sure.
Yeah,
so
it's easier each and every time. And to close out the night.
You might say you're sorry, but you really don't mean to know. You might be real sorry. see the world, and you are the way to place you
Till next time, y'all. As
See you later.
eat
Love you. Bye.
Bye.